The fires of battle had long since cooled, but the work of rebuilding Berk was far from over. Villagers and dragons toiled side by side, their silhouettes outlined against the rising sun as they mended houses, boats, and the great walls that protected them. I stood on the cliffs with Toothless, the morning air crisp and cool. "We won the battle," I murmured, my hand resting on his smooth scales. "But it feels like something bigger is coming." Just then, Astrid swooped down on Stormfly, landing with a soft thud. "You mean that shadow you saw last night?" she asked, her voice laced with concern. I nodded grimly. "It wasn't a ship, Astrid. It was a dragon, but unlike any we've ever seen. Down in the forge, Gobber's hammer rang out, shaping armor for our dragon allies. Whatever it was, he grumbled to himself. Let's hope it stays far, far away, but fate, as it often does, had other plans." By noon, the familiar rhythm of rebuilding was shattered. Fishlegs came sprinting into the village square, his book of dragon lore clutched tightly in his hands. Hiccup. "I think I found it." He fumbled through the pages, finally pointing to an ancient, faded drawing of a colossal dragon covered in what looked like stone. "It's called a Titanwing Drakmer," he panted, "a legendary dragon said to awaken once every 1,000 years. And when it rises, the balance between dragons and humans. It changes forever, the balance." I asked, my heart beginning to pound. Fishlegs nodded, his eyes wide with a mix of awe and terror. "It either brings an age of peace ... or complete and utter destruction." As if on cue, the very ground beneath our feet began to tremble. A distant, guttural roar echoed from the mountains, sending a wave of panic through the village. Birds erupted from the forests in a chaotic flurry. We all turned our gazes to the horizon, where a pillar of smoke and crackling lightning billowed from a volcanic peak far beyond Berk. My father, Stoic the Vast, roared over the growing chaos. "Everyone to the Great Hall, take shelter. Astrid, Hiccup, find out what's happening." Without a second thought, the dragon riders and I took to the stormy sky. The air grew thick with heat and ash as we soared closer to the volcano. "It's coming from inside the mountain," Astrid yelled over the howling wind. Suddenly, a deafening roar tore through the sky, and the entire side of the volcano exploded outward. A shape of impossible size emerged, its wings spreading wider than any dragon we had ever encountered. Its scales shimmered like molten rock, and its eyes burned with the intensity of gold and fire. The Titanwing Drakmer had awakened. The shockwave from its emergence nearly threw us from our dragons. Toothless righted himself in midair as I stared, completely awestruck. "He's enormous." Drakmer turned its ancient gaze toward us and roared again, the sound shaking the very clouds around us. Stormfly, ever the warrior, fired a volley of spines, but they simply bounced off the Titan's stone-like armor, utterly harmless. "It's not attacking us," I realized aloud. "It's warning us to stay away." We raced back to Berk to warn everyone, but it was already too late. The sea near the island began to churn and boil, and massive waves crashed against the cliffs. The Titanwing Drakmer was heading straight for our home. My father rallied the warriors. "If it attacks, we fight." But I knew that was a battle we couldn't win. "No," I said, shaking my head. "You can't fight something that powerful. We have to try and understand it." Astrid looked at me, bewildered. "You want to talk to Asterisk, that asterisk thing?" I managed a small, hopeful smile. "Well, it worked with Toothless. That night, under the cover of darkness, Toothless and I flew quietly toward the glowing volcano. The air shimmered with an intense heat as we landed near a massive crater where the great Titan rested. I stepped forward, my heart hammering against my ribs. "I don't want to fight," I called out, my voice small in the vast, silent landscape. "We just want peace." Drakmar's eyes, like twin suns, slowly opened. A deep, rumbling sound vibrated through my entire body, not words, but a feeling, a presence. Toothless responded with a low growl, and an incredible exchange began. They spoke in a language of roars, growls, and soft, resonant hums. After a long moment, Toothless turned to me, his eyes full of a strange seriousness. I understood. He's angry, I said quietly. Humans have disturbed the balance, the hunters, the cages, the fire. He's not here to destroy Berk. He's here to judge us. The volcano rumbled again. I looked up at the magnificent, terrifying creature. If you must judge us, I said, my voice ringing with a bravery I didn't feel, then judge me. I'm the one who brought dragons and humans together. If that was wrong, then punish me, not them. Drakmer leaned closer, its immense head lowering until its golden eyes were level with mine. The world held its breath. Then the giant roared, a blast of wind that nearly sent me tumbling, but it wasn't an attack. The Titan rose into the sky, circled Berk once in a gesture of acknowledgement, and flew back towards its mountain throne. I let out a shaky breath. I think he accepted us. When we returned, a wave of relief washed over the waiting village. What happened? Astrid asked, rushing to my side. I smiled, feeling the warmth of the rising sun. The balance is safe for now, but Drakmer won't stay hidden forever. If humans ever harm dragons again, he'll return. My father placed a proud hand on my shoulder. Then we'll make sure that day never comes. Harmony returned to Berk, but far across the sea, in the shadows of another land, a man named Vargan watched the Titan's distant flight. His eyes narrowed with a cold, calculating glint. So, even the Titans bow to dragons. Interesting. Then I'll simply need something stronger. The camera reveals a fleet of massive iron warships under construction, bristling with dragon-hunting weaponry. The next storm was already gathering on the horizon. Thanks for watching this epic chapter in the story of Berk. If you want to see what happens next, make sure to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you don't miss out. We'll see you in the next adventure.